Right. Hi, everyone. Welcome to another Sunday live broadcast. I hope to see a good turnout this time. Now, I'm starting a little bit early, but I did want to go over very quickly how I'm going to structure this 30-minute live stream. So the first 10 minutes from 6 to 6:10, I'm going to go over some of our properties. Then the next 10 minutes, I'll go over some of our latest blog posts and videos, and then what other upcoming blog posts I have in the pipeline, as well as things that I'm thinking about. And then at 6:20, we'll do the vacation giveaway. And of course, throughout this, if I see any questions on the chat screen, I'll answer them as I can. So welcome, everyone. Good to see you, OA. You're always here, so it's nice that you could join us again. All right. Okay, so I'm going to get started. We're still a little bit early, but people can log in as they log in. Now, I guess very first, in case there's anyone who's new here, before I actually go into the properties, I just want to give a brief introduction on who I am and what my company does. My name's Erica. I am the manager of Gokche Capital. We buy and sell vacant land. Our website is gokchecapital.com. I'll just go to the home screen quickly. When you go here, you'll see that we have a couple of options. There's buy land, where you can go to see all of our listings. We do also offer courses. So if you haven't checked out the full YouTube video, you should, because you'll see that we do videos with information that would be helpful to anyone who's buying or selling land or is currently a landowner. And on top of that, we do have a few courses that offer a little more of a deep dive into land buying and selling, including our land due diligence program and our land investing program. And we have a blog as well. I'll cover our latest blog posts later, but just like with the YouTube channel, the blog covers a lot of topics that would be useful to anyone who is buying or selling land or is currently a landowner. And of course, also, if you're looking at selling land, you can go to our website and click Get My Cash Offer, and we can take a look and let you know if we'd be interested in purchasing it. All right, tried to cover that pretty quickly there. So let's take a look at some of our latest properties. Now, if you go to our website and you click, our homepage is gokchecapital.com. If you click Buy Land, it'll pull up this website here. The top portion is a map with all of our properties, so you can zoom in on the region that you're interested in. So let's say we zoom in. Hello. So let's say we zoom in on California. There's Southern California. You can then click on any pins that are available. The pins are the available properties. And when you click on a pin, you will see a link to that property's main listing page. Also, as a note, you can scroll down beneath the map just to see a table with all of the property information as well. So I zoomed in on Southern California because we did just post a property today or yesterday in Riverside County that I wanted to go over. I'm excited about this property because we haven't had a lot in Southern California in a while. So I'm happy to bring this to market. And very quickly, so hello to everyone who's joined, but I did get a question. Is the map updated in real time automatically? Yes. So again, I'll go back to the map. Whenever you go to our listing page, the map is updated as we post properties. So you'll see pins added whenever a new property becomes available. Oh, and that reminds me, I do always like to let you know that if you're in the lookout for properties, a few other options you have to get notified whenever we post a new property is to go to our website and click subscribe. You can sign up for our weekly newsletter, but you can also get text notifications. And so you'll get a text as soon as we post a new property. And the cool thing about this feature is you can elect to get text alerts whenever we post a new property, or you can select up to 5 states and only get text alerts for those particular states. Okay. I grew up in Riverside County. Huh, small world. Well, we're in your hometown now. All right. So this property that I want to highlight, it's 1 acre in Riverside County, California. Now, on the main listing page, you'll see that on all of our listing pages, we do give a plat map. Now, this plat map does have the approximate parcel boundaries of all of the properties. Now, note that these are approximate parcel boundaries. They come from Assessor GIS data. That's usually fairly accurate, but it's not the same as an actual survey. So just take this as general knowledge or a general sense of where the parcel is and what it looks like. You'll still need to have a survey done at some point, especially if you want to build. But this property, actually, let me zoom out so you can see where exactly it is. Now, if you're not familiar with California, Riverside County is in the inland portion of Southern California. And this particular lot is located within the mountains, or not actually in the mountains itself. It's more in the foothills, but there are mountain ranges nearby. It's actually, you can't see it from the Google Maps image here, but all of this is a national monument. So there's a lot of public land immediately around this property. And there's actually a conservation easement, I believe that's just to the south of this property. We are outside of Alpine Village, which is a small little village. We're also about half an hour from Palm Desert, I believe it is. Yes, Palm Desert. So we're half an hour from this more built-up area here. There's Costco, you can see hospitals, you know, all the amenities you may need about half an hour away. And if you're not familiar with the area, these mountains are the Santa Rosa and San Jacinto Mountains. Now, this property does have access off of Interlaken Avenue. There are some homes in the nearby vicinity. I'll note that there is what appears to be an arroyo to the west, right to the west along the western border of the property. And just in terms of zoning, the lot is zoned residential or R1, which allows for single-family homes and mobile homes, but not long-term RV use. Of course, I do always recommend that you give the county a call to go over their rules and regulations. Now, as of the time of this recording, the price is set at about $25,000. That's the cash discount price. We do also offer owner financing on all of our properties. And on all of our properties, it's $1 down to start owner financing, plus the document fee. In this case, it's $2.99. There's no interest, but you don't get the cash discount price when you purchase with owner financing. There's also no prepayment penalty and no credit check. And we try to make the purchase process very easy. All you have to do is click this buy or hold button. That'll take you to this other page where you can either hold the property. It's $25 to hold the property for 2 days, but you can hold the property for up to 8 days. So if you wanted some time to do your due diligence, but wanted to make sure that no one else was going to take the property, you could do that. Or if you're ready to buy, you just click buy. And then you select the property from the drop-down menu and put in your information. You also want to select whether you're doing cash or owner financing. And this is the same for all of the properties. So, I'm not going to go over that again, but, we try to make the process very easy if you wanted to purchase. Now, we did also just post another property that I wanted to highlight. This one is in Decatur County, Georgia. And Decatur County, it's actually a fairly large lot for this particular region. It's 3.3 acres. And if you're not familiar with the surrounding area or Decatur County, this is a county in southwest Georgia. It's very close to the border with Florida. You can see that border here. And the cool thing about this property is it's right off of Lake Seminole. So there's also public land in the nearby vicinity, the Lake Seminole Recreation Area. So you'll see a campground right to the south of the property and a lot of other recreational areas. And Chattahoochee, Florida is about 5 minutes away. And this property is off of Booster Club Road. If you look up north here, there are a number of homes on the road, but this is still a little more rural. There's a lot of green. Again, there's a lot of public land in the nearby vicinity. So it's a good spot for anyone who's looking for sort of a recreational spot. And it is fairly large. Again, it's 3.3 acres. And I should note, I know it's a concern in most of Florida, although we are on the, south. We're still in Georgia, so we're not too close to the ocean yet, but it's not actually in a flood zone, even though it's right off of the lake. And the zoning for this property is also residential. That allows for both single-family homes and mobile homes, but again, not long-term RV use. Of course, you should always reach out to the county to go over their rules and regulations. This property is not in an HOA as well. So good news for anyone who doesn't like to deal with HOA regulations. And as of the time of this recording, the cash discount price is about $26,000. And again, we offer owner financing, same great terms, $1 down, 0% APR, no prepayment penalty, and no credit check. And again, as before, if you were interested in the property, you could simply click buy or hold and then click buy. So those are the two properties that I just listed this weekend. You're seeing them probably before most others have. So we're excited about these two properties. They're in unique locations for us, at least. And that gets us up to 6:10. So I'm going to move on to the blogs that we posted, as well as latest videos. And like I was mentioning before, we do post a number of blog posts each week, at least 3, sometimes more. These are long-form blog posts, at least 2,000 words that go into a lot of depth on a particular topic. We have a wide range of topics we cover, but it's pretty much anything that I think is interesting or would be relevant to someone who's looking to buy or sell vacant land or who's just a landowner. So there's topics that range from development to legal documents to, key due diligence items, to some history and policy, and pretty much anything that I think is interesting or that I'd like to learn more about myself as well. And you can find our blog post on our main website on the top menu by clicking blog. And I did just post, so speaking of policies, I did just post a blog post on inclusionary housing. This is a policy topic. I actually come from an affordable housing background, so I find these things interesting. But if anyone's looking to develop a property, it's good to know, especially if you're in a more built-up area or a city, what some of these more unique kind of zoning situations are, because it could impact you. Maybe a few of you are even looking to develop some multifamily housing, in which case inclusionary housing potentially could impact your development. We'll see. But just briefly, inclusionary housing is it's a policy, well, it's a zoning tool that aims to integrate affordable housing into new residential developments. So it's a way to for cities to try and get more affordable housing without spending taxpayer dollars. There's both mandatory and voluntary inclusionary housing. Mandatory, as the name would suggest, is basically just a zoning rule that says usually a certain percentage of new housing developments they have to set aside a certain percentage of their units as affordable housing. But there are also voluntary programs where they give incentives. Usually you can build taller or have greater density if you put in affordable housing. So if any of that interests you, you should check out the full blog post. I did some unique blog posts this week, but because I'm not sure if all of you know this, but my understanding is this year is projected to be an El Nino year. We'll see if that pans out. But I did a blog post on what causes El Nino. It's a phenomenon that's very relevant for anyone who's looking to buy land, especially if you're going to do some farming, because weather patterns, of course, have a huge impact on farming. And so we just go into a little bit, not a little bit, a lot of detail on El Nino, just what it is and what causes it and how it could impact you as a land buyer or owner. And I'm going to pause for a second because I see that there's some questions about some of these topics. So quickly going back to inclusionary housing, is it limited to certain cities? Yes, it's a zoning. It's usually implemented in the zoning ordinance. Zoning ordinances are specific to cities or counties. So it's not a statewide or a federal level policy. Each city will implement it on their own. And so every city that implements it is going to have a slightly different take on how they apply inclusionary housing. But a lot of the major cities have implemented it. You're probably not going to see it as much in the smaller cities. New York, of course, famously has it. A lot of California cities have it. There are some global examples as well. I believe London has something that would be equivalent. But yeah, it's going to be city specific. So if you want to know more in depth on how your area is implementing inclusionary housing, you should contact your local planning department. And then in terms of the El Nino blog, oh, thank you, Jake. I'm glad you already read it. El Nino and the Fate of Civilizations. Yeah, so I'm glad you read the blog and found it useful. I'll have to check out that book. Oh, Nicholas, thank you for your comment. And actually, you reminded me that I did do a podcast, but I don't want to get off track. I'll cover that after I finish going through the blogs. So just wrapping up El Nino, it's a global phenomenon. It occurs every 3 to 5 years. It's not a set cycle, but it's when the surface water in the Western Pacific gets unusually warm, and that changes the climate in a lot of countries, including the US. So it has impacts for everyone, but particularly anyone who's engaged in farming or trying to raise crops. So, if you're interested in the topic, you may want to check out our blog posts. And now, before I move on from the blog, I do just want to highlight what is in the works for next week if you want to keep an eye out on our blog. I'm going to have at least 2 blog posts that do some deep dives into specific zoning issues like floor area ratio. They're going to be a little more technical, but for anyone who's looking to develop, zoning's a really important topic and it can get very complicated. Not everywhere. Fortunately, some counties and cities either have no zoning or very simple zoning text, but any major city or a lot of areas, unfortunately, do have pretty complicated zoning ordinances. So trying to do a deep dive in some more zoning topics in case anyone's interested in developing, because it can get confusing and complicated. Yeah, keep an eye out for the upcoming blog posts. And then Nicholas did remind me that I did just do an interview on the icons of real estate. So you can just Google icons of real estate. They have a podcast. And I think I'm still the latest episode, although maybe they posted someone else since then. But yeah, all about land investing. So I did a podcast with them if any of you wanted to check it out. This is more specifically about land investing rather than land due diligence. But if you're interested in land investing, you may want to listen to that. And speaking of interviews, on the YouTube channel, I did an interview with Craig from Landgate. Now, I brought Landgate on because they have a unique tool. I haven't seen anything like it. I don't usually do these kinds of videos, but I thought this was an interesting tool. So I did want to bring Craig from Landgate on to go over the tool. He covers what it is and what it does, but essentially it lets you get information on the potential of your property for solar or wind leases. So they have a tool that lets you see, maybe how much, a kind of range of how much you could expect to get from a solar or wind lease. And they have a heat map tool as well that lets you see whether your property has a high or low potential for solar and wind. And I thought that was a really unique tool. I've heard a lot of people comment that they're interested in solar leases. That's why I wanted to highlight this program. But they also have the ability to look for mineral rights and water rights to a limited extent. So if you wanted to do more research on a particular property, either that you own or that you're looking to buy, and try to get more information on the underground minerals, water, and potential for solar or wind leases, this would be a really good tool. Another great thing about it is if you're just looking at a one-off property or you're a property owner, you can claim a property for free, so you don't have to pay to do that initial research. And yeah, I liked it because there's not too many tools that deal specifically with issues of mineral resources and sort of power resources like that solar, wind, gas extraction, oil extraction, all of that. So it can be a powerful tool. At the very least, if you were concerned about you're looking at a parcel of land and you don't think you'll have mineral rights, and you just want to know how likely is it that someone may want to extract minerals from the property, it can show you how much activity is going on in the surrounding area. And that can be a very good indicator of whether not having mineral rights is an issue or not for a particular property. And the other video that we posted was video on the 10 towns that are giving away free land. So it's free, but you do have to build a house in all of these cases because these are towns that are trying to attract people, especially with remote work, to their jurisdiction. They're trying to get new people to come and live there. So you do have to build a home and then occupy it, in most cases, as your primary residence. But it's a topic that I know is always of interest, so you may want to check that out as well. And now, wow, time has really flown by. We're already at 6:20, which means it is time for the vacation giveaway. Why you're all here, I know. So unless there are any other questions, I'm going to go ahead and get into it. So the way I do this is if you're interested in participating, just say yes, and then I'll randomly select. We'll do a random number generator to select the winner. But before you say yes, I do want to go over some of the terms just so we're all on the same page. Now, we do this vacation giveaway with a partner. The partner company, they have over 50 locations around the world. There's over 30 in the US, but there's also a bunch of global locations. And what it is it's a voucher that's usually for 3, although it's sometimes a 4-night stay in a hotel. They tend to be luxury hotels. The hotel stay is complimentary, but you do have to pay the taxes associated with the hotel stay. And I'll just say very quickly why they do that. They do that because apparently, I'm not an accountant, but this is my understanding. The IRS would, if it was completely free, you didn't pay anything for the hotel room, the IRS would consider that a gift, and they would see it as income coming your way that would be included in your tax return. So it would be taxed at your regular tax rate for that income. And they would set what the income is based on the value of the voucher, which is estimated to be around $1,000. So you would end up paying income taxes on $1,000. And in most cases, that is more than just paying the regular hotel tax. So that is why they have you pay the tax. It's going to be around $100. But again, the hotel stay itself is complimentary. It is set up to be a voucher for 1 or 2 people, although there will be some hotels that allow for 2 children. There just won't be quite as many choices in each location, but you can bring children. And I'll also note the way it works is once you get the voucher, you have 7 days to claim it. At the time that you claim the voucher, you have to pay the associated taxes, but then you have 18 months to actually book your stay. So you don't have to say right away when you want to go or pick the exact hotel. You have to pick the location, but not the exact hotel right away. The other thing I forgot to mention last time that I want to remember now that we're doing more of these, you're only allowed 1 vacation voucher every 12 months. So if you do happen to win twice in a row, we could give out a hotel savings card instead. But all right, so I want to give us all another 20 seconds so that everyone can say yes. Looks like everyone has chimed in. Oh, and while I'm waiting for everyone to chime in, I'll just say, if you do happen to win twice, you can also always gift the voucher to a friend or family member, assuming that they didn't go with you on your first trip. So each person who goes on the trip is only allowed to do so once every 12 months. All right. So we're just going to go down this list here and from 1 onwards. So Kevin, you're 1, Ricky 2, Jay Dobbins 3, so on. And it looks like we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 people. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and just have the Google machine randomly select a number between 1 and 16. And it's 4. So that would be Jake Phelps. Congratulations, you're our winner this week. Now, if you would like to claim your voucher, you can just DM me or better yet, email me. If you don't have my contact information, it's on our website, gokcecapital.com/contact us. But I'll put that in the chat here. So just send me a quick email and then I'll send you a list of all the locations that are available and tell me which one you're interested in and I will send you your voucher. As for everyone else, thank you so much for participating. I hope to see you next weekend. We'll do another vacation giveaway. So you're going to have plenty of opportunities to win one if you keep showing up. And come And of course, I'm also here to answer questions. I'm going to be going over properties each week like I did this time and our blog posts, but you can always ask questions while I'm doing that, and I'll pause occasionally to answer them. So I hope you all have a wonderful Sunday evening, and I'll see you next weekend.